Imagine just for a second that there's a currency that you can't touch and isn't controlled by any government. It's controlled by just math, trust, and code. That is Bitcoin, and that's what we're going to be covering in this video today. Bitcoin is more than just digital currency. It's a global network where value moves seamlessly across borders. In an era where tech giants see every click that you do, Bitcoin offers a sense of financial privacy. But how did something so intangible become the hottest asset on the planet? So to get to that, we have to rewind back to 2008. Financial markets are crashing, right? People are losing their homes, and confidence in banks skyrocket down. Enter Satoshi Nakamoto, an unknown figure or figures that dropped a white paper called Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. So the goal was clear: to create a currency that needed no bank, no government, and gave individuals full control over their currency. No one could freeze it, no one could change it, and as soon as people got this, it changed everything. So how does this Bitcoin thing work? Well, think of Bitcoin as a bunch of connected computers. All around the world, individuals called miners are running specialized softwares that solve complex mathematical problems. When they solve these problems, a new block of transaction gets added to a digital ledger known as a blockchain. Picture it as a record book that everyone can read, but no one can alter. And here's the twist. Everyone in this network has access to this ledger. It's open source. It's decentralized, and each time Bitcoin changes hands, every single copy of the ledger updates. This means it's incredibly hard, almost impossible, to cheat the system. Imagine trying to fool everyone in a massive crowd all at once. It's gonna be tough. Plus, Bitcoin limits its supply to only 21 million coins, ever. There will never be more than 21 million Bitcoins. This scarcity is why some call Bitcoin digital gold. It's meant to resist inflation, unlike traditional currencies that governments can print at will. So why are people so obsessed with Bitcoin? Well, first off, it's borderless, it's decentralized, and most importantly, it's censorship resistant. Say you live in a country with strict financial controls, let's say Russia. With Bitcoin, you can send value across the globe without needing a bank or approval from any authority. That alone makes it appealing for many in the world. But it's not just about bypassing controls, it's also about freedom. For this reason, in just a decade, it went from a few cents to tens of thousands of dollars in value per coin. This growth is why many view Bitcoin as digital gold, an investment that may grow as people lose faith in traditional currencies like the dollar or the yen. And Bitcoin has no close. Bitcoin trades 24/7, just like any other cryptocurrency. There's no closing bell, there's no downtime. If you're in, you're in. This makes Bitcoin one of the most accessible assets for anyone, anywhere, at any time. So now that you know what Bitcoin is and why people invest in it, let's go into the how. So investing in Bitcoin isn't like opening a bank account. It's much simpler than that, actually. First, you just need a digital wallet. Think of this as a virtual bank account, and this wallet holds the cryptographic keys needed to access and transfer your Bitcoin. You can use software wallets that run on your phone computer like Coinbase, or if you want more security, you want to go with a hardware wallet, a small USB-like device that keeps your Bitcoin offline. So like I said, there's Coinbase, there's Binance, there's Kraken, and all these allow you to buy Bitcoin with just regular currencies. You can create an account, go through some verification steps, and buy Bitcoin by linking a bank account or using a credit card. And some apps even let you set up automatic Bitcoin buys so you can invest a little bit each week. Now, once you've bought the Bitcoin, consider moving it from an exchange to your personal wallet. This way you fully control it and it's safer from hacks. But remember, with this freedom, there is more responsibility. There's no forgot password button here. Your Bitcoin is only accessible if you keep your keys safe. So Bitcoin can feel like a gateway to new possibilities, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows, unfortunately. Bitcoin's price is wildly volatile, in some cases. In a week, it could gain or lose up to 10% of its value, if not more. For some, this volatility means stress. For others, it means opportunity. And there's another thing to consider. There are a lot of scams in this cryptocurrency world currently, because it is an unregulated market for the most part. Ponzi schemes, fake exchanges, phishing attacks all target those looking to get rich quick with cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin itself is secure, but the way you buy, sell, and send it is really up to a lot of factors. So you need to be vigilant in that aspect. And there's also the environmental impact that Bitcoin mining is causing, which is also a factor you must consider. So what's the future of Bitcoin going to look like? Some say Bitcoin is a bubble, an asset riding on a hype. Others see it as the next stage of evolution for money, being as common as cash. And this is true in some respects even today. For example, El Salvador has made Bitcoin legal tender, meaning you can pay for anything there with Bitcoin. Other countries are investigating how they would like to use digital currencies for the future, though they'll likely try creating their own rather than adopting Bitcoin. Plus, there are also huge companies like Tesla, PayPal, and MicroStrategy that have invested millions, not billions, into Bitcoin. Banks too are waking up. Some are even launching Bitcoin funds. It's a sign that the old guard might be embracing the new. And on the technical side, the Bitcoin network continues to grow. Developers and Bitcoiners are working on ways to make it faster, cheaper, and more accessible for everyday transactions. There's even a system called the Lightning Network that allows for instant low-fee transactions. So now that you know the risks and the potential future of Bitcoin, let's go into more detail on how to actually start investing. So as I said, you can choose a wallet, either a cold wallet or a hot wallet. A hot wallet is connected to the internet and can live on your phone and computer. A hot wallet makes it easy to access and trade Bitcoin anytime, but they're online, which means more risks. Examples of recent hacks include Trust Wallet, Exodus, and MetaMask. On the other hand, a cold wallet is stored offline in a USB-like device. Cold wallets like the Ledger or Trezor add an extra layer of security because they're not connected to the actual internet and they're not online. This is ideal for longer-term storage, especially if you plan to hold your Bitcoin for a while without frequent trading. And now to buy Bitcoin, you'll want to choose a cryptocurrency exchange, which is like a stock exchange but for digital assets instead. There are dozens of exchanges, but the most popular ones are Coinbase, Binance, and Kraken. Each exchange has its own features, fees, and security measures, so it's worth researching each one to find the best one that works best for you. Most of these will go through a simple setup process. It's easier than opening a bank account, really. All you need to do is provide your ID and verify your identity, and once you're in, all you have to do is just link your bank account or buy Bitcoin directly with your credit card. And here's a key tip. I do highly recommend that you look through the reviews of these exchanges. Look for key things like the security features and customer support. Also compare fees carefully. Now, when discussing strategy, Bitcoin can rise and fall dramatically. So deciding how and when to buy can make a huge difference. A popular method that long-term investors use is the DCA or dollar cost averaging method. Instead of putting all your money at once, the DCA method means you buy a fixed dollar amount each week or each month. This way, you're buying Bitcoin at both the high and low amounts, which averages the cost over time. The DCA isn't just for beginners. Many experienced investors actually use the DCA method because it reduces the overall stress and risks when investing. And on many exchanges, you can actually set up a frequency of purchase times you'd like to buy Bitcoin at. After you make your first purchase, it's all about managing your investments. Bitcoin's price can change by hundreds or even thousands in a single day. While many traders try to catch these quick price swings, others prefer to simply hold their Bitcoin over the long haul. Long-term investors in Bitcoin believe in Bitcoin's future value. Bitcoin has historically grown tremendously over the past 10 years. But remember, it's also known for its downturns as well. So the idea here is to stay calm even during the inevitable ups and downs. One way to keep a cool head is to look at your investments only occasionally, and this can help avoid the urge to sell during a clip. So now let's discuss security. So security, without a doubt, is one of the most important things when investing in Bitcoin. So once you buy Bitcoin, you'll receive a private key. which is like a password, but for your Bitcoin. If you lose this key, there's no way to recover it. There's no forget your password button, right? There's none of that. Write it down on paper. That's what I recommend for you. And store it somewhere very safe. Because if someone gets access to it, if you put it on your laptop, for example, and if someone steals your laptop, they basically have access to your Bitcoin. You can also store it safely online as well, if you prefer that method. I highly recommend that you don't view Bitcoin as a set it and forget it kind of investment. I do recommend that you look at the news and updates regularly to see what kind of developments are in the makings. Even though Bitcoin is decentralized, some countries may make certain laws affecting how people buy, sell, or hold it. So you can follow crypto news websites like CoinDesk, CryptoSlate, and CoinMarketCap. And you can also use communities like Reddit and Twitter to get involved to the community. So that's it for our video here. Is Bitcoin the future of money, or is it just another passive fad? That's for you to decide right here. But remember, understanding Bitcoin isn't just about buying it. It's also about understanding what money, value, and trust means in the world as it's evolving. Don't forget to like and follow for more information like this.